Welcome to A Canadian Investing in the U.S., a podcast and YouTube channel focused on Canadians buying real estate with host Glen Sutherland.
Welcome to another episode of A Canadian Investing in the U.S. This week I wanted to talk a little bit about how to make an offer when the seller is represented by a real estate agent. Most of you think, well, isn't that normally always the case? And actually, ideally, if you're good at this, it's not. Ideally, you're working with wholesalers or even directly to the seller of the property. But every now and then, there's going to be properties that you're going to find on the MLS, or for whatever reason, there is a realtor involved in the middle. The problem with having the realtor in the middle is if you read any of these books on negotiation tactics, it's really hard to use a lot of these tactics because there is an agent in the middle. So what do I do? Well, what do I do with a lot of these whenever I'm in this same situation? For me personally, what I like to do is to make multiple offers is the simplest thing. And the key to getting that to work is ideally if you could get them open to the idea of seller financing or vendor take back or whatever you want to call it. Because if you can get them open to that, now you all of a sudden have a lot more strategies and things you can change. You could change the amount of down payment. You could change the rate, the terms, anything you want. And there's all kinds of different places to negotiate with that. But the same thing you're running into is, well, you know what? Let's just give it a perfect example. Right now, I'm putting a bid on 4 duplexes. So what I'm trying to do with this is because I have existing financing that I need to put some properties into, I can take in, ideally I'm hoping to split the 4 properties into 2 different corporations. I'll have one of them close it into the bundle loan, and that means that the other one I could close into his seller financing. I know it's questionable because you could just use seller financing for the whole thing, and actually I would have a lower down payment that way. But the way I'm trying to make this work is if I could take the property, well, no, actually, I guess it's figure out first what the seller needs. Like, is it they are asking for 15 or 20 or 25% down because they feel that's a safe number, that I have enough skin in the game? Or is it because they need a certain amount of money for something that they're trying to do? So if it's for something that they're trying to do, and it's just to try and have a certain amount of money in the project, what the next step for me is go, well, now that I'm splitting out 2 of them, I'm going to close one of them with a conventional loan. So technically, instead of me putting down like 15 or 20 or 25%, I'm actually putting down 50% on the whole loan, because 100% he's going to get cash for because I'm switching it into other financing. So if that's the case, I'm actually putting down far more than his asked 15, 20, 25%. So in that case, why couldn't I get him to put the second 2 properties into a loan where there's 0% down, because he's actually already got 50% down as a whole of the whole project? I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, that was what I'm hoping to try and achieve. The perk to me is what it actually means is I could buy 8 units or 4 duplexes with 0% down, because the existing financing is already, I don't need to actually come up with any money because it's part of a cash out refinance, and there's a whole bunch of money in that property. So that's what I'm hoping to do, and that's an interesting strategy that maybe if you can get sellers to agree to seller financing, that you may be able to implement into your business. If you can't do something like that, if they're not open to seller financing, and you're trying to negotiate with them, and you've read these books, you have these seller techniques, maybe the goal should be to like what you really want to do is get them alone. You want to have a conversation with them. So if you are local, if you're actually presenting this in your own market, the best way to do it would be to present the offer in person. That way you can talk to them. If there is a tenant that they have a concern about, that they whatever, you can negotiate. It's all a negotiation at that point, and it's open. So it makes things a lot easier. The problem is that I'm trying to buy properties in the United States, and I'm in Canada, so that isn't an option for me. So what I would like to do is look at the whole deal from the realtor's perspective. So if I call the realtor and say, hey, I'd like to talk directly to the seller, they're going to go, whoa, 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 what? That doesn't sound good to me, because that means that they might just cut me out of the whole deal and I lose out on my commission. And that's definitely not going to work for them. And why is this gatekeeper, the realtor, going to want this to happen? So the way I found around this is, if you're, what I like to do is sign BRAs, like buyer representation agreements, specifically for each deal. So you can say, if I close this deal for this property, you're the agent, right? So in that case, if the realtor is already representing the client, they have a predetermined agreement that you're probably paying like 5% or 3%, whatever they've come up with, to this realtor. And my realtor would get the other half. So if you want to make that realtor really happy and on your side, one thing to do is, you don't have an agent anyway. You're probably working yourself because you're trying to get a negotiation going directly with the seller. The key, I would say, would be, okay, how about I sign a BRA with you as well for this deal? I'll sign a BRA for this deal. So if I close this deal, you can get the commission on both sides. Well, now he's going to feel secure. He's going to feel like this is a good thing. He's going to get paid, and that's the main thing they're in here for, right? Everyone wants to get paid. So if he's going to get paid, maybe then he will let you through to talk to the seller. I hope that was an interesting tip. I hope that was something that someone could apply. If you want to get a hold of me, Glen at glensutherland.com. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.